And the messages are what your higher self wants you to hear right now. Okay, so let me just clear the energy. Some incense. Okay. Any negative energy will disperse. Went out. Okay, take a deep breath and set any intentions if you wish. There we go. Okay, this incense is lavender. Nice and relaxing. All right. So the deck I'm using is the Sacred Feminine deck, which is based off the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, but has its own symbols and stories around the divine feminine. So I read it intuitively based on the symbols, whether I feel it's more the Rider-Waite symbolism or the story of the divine feminine. Okay. Okay, so first up, I want to know, what's the core message from your higher self? Viewers, core message from spirit and your higher self. Core message. Okay. Let's see. 8 of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck, in case you're curious. All right. The Ace of Cups. Right here. We have the moon reflected in the glass. Wow, so this is good. Nice moment of reflection. Maybe a new beginning. Emotional beginning. Let's put that there. Then we have the 6 of Swords. Okay. And in here, I'm feeling, based off of the symbolism, that there's something education based here, maybe learning a new skill or going to a new school. But I'm also seeing the sickle, and in her features here, it looks a lot like maybe possibly Vietnamese, Thai. I lived in Vietnam for 4 years and in Asia for 8 years about. So here I'm also feeling like she looks like one of those Chinese actresses from the dramas. Could be with the robes here. And this is not obviously completely accurate. That's just what I'm seeing here. I'm getting something like that. So someone from one of these socialist nations, or maybe you will travel there for education or learn a new language like Chinese, Thai, Vietnamese, or someone who's probably a teacher from these areas. Yeah, so if you're thinking about traveling to there, if you're from another country, yeah, I see that's a good recommendation. Or if you know someone you're making a connection, maybe online. I'm kind of seeing the letters here. So if you have an online connection with someone from one of these nations, it's a very good connection. And I think it's very intellectual as well. But there's some growing feelings developing if that's the case. Okay. Then we have the King of Swords in reverse. Now, obviously, this is quite gruesome. We have the pomegranate tree representing rejuvenation here in potency, but in reverse. King of Swords in reverse, quite cruel. So this is the cruel aspect. I see this as like avoiding some of this negativity aspect, and someone's got their just desserts. But I see here the opposite. So if I'm reading for a masculine and you're discussing with someone online, perhaps you or the other person had been quite cruel. But if it's not this person that I'm connecting with and it's someone else, then I would say that there is someone coming into your life or already in your life who has been quite cruel. And I think that this is on a intellectual level. Again, because we see, the tree here, the apple tree, and here we have another apple tree. So it's almost like could also be like the original sin. This is actually pomegranates, but it looks like an apple tree. And the original sin, they also don't, we think of it as apples, but it never says what fruit is the original sin. So you can use your imagination and imagine any kind of fruit of temptation. And considering that pomegranates represent fertility and rejuvenation, it makes sense because that's what the original sin really is about, isn't it? And is it a sin? That's a whole other discussion, but I'm just getting onto the story here. So there might have been a more intimate discussion where there was some quite cruel facts. So this could be either an STI or just about childbearing in general. It could even be with your partner, right? I've just had a discussion with my husband recently, and maybe I was a bit cruel about it, right? So we can get quite defensive. So if it's a woman here, maybe she's defensive about, and we also see here it's kind of over the womb about either, could be, if it's on a more serious note, could be where a pregnancy came from or an infection came from, these sorts of things. But it could also be more simple, more, as I said, intellectual, more about values. Could also be someone wanting to terminate a pregnancy and the other partner not wanting this, something like that. So this is actually quite a negative interpretation, which I was seeing quite positive here with the Ace of Cups earlier, and this intellectual conversation happening here. So I feel like that this is something that can be worked through. So it feels more like a conversation and it feels less like something permanent. Maybe some cold feet about joining together or being a parent, something like that. All right. Then we have the Knave of Swords, right? And this is a really nice interpretation. So we have this apple cut in half. And as it cuts in half, it reveals the star here. So that always kind of reminds me of the star card. And then her nudity is actually more about innocence. So quite the opposite of what I was saying about the original sin, right? But then you can also see it as a temptation, but it's upright. So I would say here, if you're discussing fertility, if you're discussing having children, that this is actually pure. It's divine, divinely orchestrated, okay? Especially if you're having twins, or maybe you already have one child and your siblings, like maybe connecting marriages, right? So if you have children from other marriages coming together and connecting, but actually together they make one whole. So if you're worried about step siblings getting along or not, that shouldn't be a worry. And here, if you're worried about independence, I see that you would be quite independent in this relationship. You don't have to worry about that. Okay. All right, so that's the core message. Already so many messages coming across. Okay, so what do you need to release? This is a message from your higher self. What is something that you need to release right now? Wow, interesting. So this is Virgo. This is obviously she's a virgin, but she's also the mother of the sun, the divine sun. So if we were talking about, I'm just getting planned parenthood here because I'm also seeing the birth control tablet, the days of the month, even though this is the horoscopes, right? And I don't know if you're Virgo, then, because this is the Virgos right here, the constellation. Then you might be very orderly, and you might be trying to plan when you would have a baby, in what their horoscope would be. And I wouldn't say I recommend that, but divine timing is at play here, and it is a divine relationship between mother and son, and possibly, like as I mentioned, virgin, and we have here about planning, and so maybe you are a virgin who is having this kind of conversation, which feels kind of gruesome to you because of maybe nerves, or maybe the person you're with is quite experienced, and some of the stories you heard, like maybe you've heard about them having an STI or something like that, and maybe that was too much for you. Okay, but again, I think this is something you can work through, right? So the thing with the Ace of the Cups, and you look at the water in the cup, and the moon has become a less clear vision of what's actually there. And already it's hard to see in the moonlight. So it could be that you're not looking at the direct source, and your thinking is kind of fogging up your feelings, and you're not quite seeing the whole picture, right? So this is upright though. So your intuition is spot on wherever your intuition is. So especially if you are a Virgo, and I don't normally read the horoscopes because everyone has different aspects in their chart. But I see that there might be some overthinking going on. And then the Ace of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck, so quite nice. So this might be a new opportunity in the workforce as well. So then this could be not necessarily about sex, but could be about, business opportunity. And so instead of making a baby, could be a metaphor of some sort. So maybe a business partnership of some sort. But yes, could also be, sometimes they say that with one blessing, others come as well. And so I don't know who says that actually, but I say that. So just like when it rains, it pours. So you might be able, like having a baby might actually bless you financially, which some people would think the opposite. But I'm seeing here that it would financially help you. in some fashion. Maybe it's some sort of parental help, maybe a marriage, something like that. All right, so you need to release the control. What you need to release is control of when you will have this baby. Okay. Or partnership, you know, the money coming in. Sorry, that was music I was listening to earlier. Okay. And now, what do you need to embrace? What do you need to embrace? Message from Spirit. Whoa, there's this money coming in. Again, I swear I shuffled it. That happened the last time I did the reading as well. Okay, 6 of Pentacles here at the bottom. So look again, fertility with the eggs coming here. So if someone is wanting to give you something in order to help with a pregnancy or help with doctor's visits, you should take it. Oh, wow, this is like a reading for me. Literally something I was talking about with my husband. Not all of the stuff I said is, but some of it. Okay, so let me just make sure I get another message for you then, because it didn't appear shuffled, but I swear it was. Okay. What does viewer need to embrace? What does viewer need to embrace? Okay, Hermit in reverse. Getting out there a little bit more. Okay. Then we have the 10 of Pentacles. Maybe receiving some guidance from your ancestors is a good thing to embrace. But also any help from family. Any inheritances. Yes, inheritance was the word I was looking for earlier. Ooh, and 5 of Pentacles. Very interesting because, 10 of Pentacles and 5 of Pentacles on the traditional Rider-Waite, you might find that they're kind of opposites here, but the 5 is half of 10 and they're actually closely connected, right? Maybe opposite sides of the same coin. But the image here, so instead of Rider-Waite, I see this as this journey that you've been on, leaving this town, right? And out in this cold. So she's actually taking these children to safety, right? So if you're embracing this journey, right, and you have this 10 of Pentacles to back you up, your children are going to be safe. And now it's children before it's just one baby, right? So that might be intimidating, but this is actually, as cold as it looks, it's very warm and promising. And there is the help there. So even in the traditional deck, the 5 of Pentacles is in front of the church. And so there's the help that you can receive from the church. But quite literally, we see the help here. Your ancestors ready to help you. Some foundation that's already been built up before. So maybe some inheritance left. Maybe not even left for you. Maybe the partner that is pursuing you has something. All right, that would help. So that is something to embrace. And guidance for this path forward. Ooh, health. 2 wands. The health. And death. Ooh, and the struggle here. Okay. Maybe there was a death recently. Or multiple times, like if you were trying to get pregnant in the past. Or, yes, it could also be another type of health condition. So it could be, because as we were seeing the basket of eggs earlier and we have the seeds here, it could be not necessarily miscarriages, but maybe some health concern involving your eggs, or sorry if it's too personal, your semen, you know. I don't know if this is what I can say on YouTube, but all right, so there is this kind of health concern, because I'm also seeing this partnership, you know, the house symbol here, but also a partnership here in reverse. Okay, maybe there's some imbalance with the light and the dark aspect of yourself, some yin yang imbalance in the relationship or within yourself. So if you're a man, then you might want to work on developing more yang energy. Just kind of research that online. Or if you're a woman, you might want to develop your yin energy and kind of come more into balance there. And this could help with potency. Okay. So, but you know, death, it's in upright. So even though this looks quite hellish, because it is this is hell, but the original hell, which was less bad, more like a cold place. Okay. So, and everyone had to go. Everyone finishes their cycles here and passes through the gates of hell. So again, cycle, passing through your cycle. So there might be something painful about your cycles if you're a woman. And you should definitely look into that. For one, what is this here? It's looking like that he's wearing some sort of bracelet. Interesting. It almost feels like they're painted in reverse. Okay, so odd message, but if you are doing any kind of trance work, so I know some people, they travel to some different countries and, experiment spiritually. This is not great for your womb, and I would avoid that, your womb or your reproductive organs in general. And so I would avoid any spiritual retreats where you would do some trance work. It's not suiting your body chemistry. The smoke is in my eyes. Okay. That is some guidance for you. Anything else, Spirit? Oh, there's quite a lot left to say. Again, the Eight of Pentacles comes up at the bottom of the deck. So there might be something here. I hate to say it. Might be something here about prostitution. Okay. And not that there's no judgment if you are one. Okay. I understand, actually. But, this can also damage your health if you are not doing it in the right way. Okay. Right, forging in the fire, jewelry, necklace. So there might be some dispute about that as well. Maybe something that you've done in your past. It's actually coming out now. Okay, maybe some physical evidence there, some trade. Okay, or your partner. And then Three of Pentacles in reverse, so lack of collaboration here. And I'm also seeing some secrets were not kept. Yes. And it's some secrets you cannot keep, even if you tried, right? Sometimes it's divine intervention. And then we have the Knave of Cups. Okay. I'm almost feeling like there's a warning here of some sort. Or some stagnancy that needs to be let go. I need a little bit more clarity on these two cards. Spirit, can you please offer me some more clarity on these cards? Okay, yes, Spirit is delivering. Nine of Wands in reverse. Okay, if you're planning on, or if there's for some reason there was some sort of temptation to, have a baby and run, or you felt like this was what your partner was thinking about doing, right? Just using that child for financial gain, that's not going to work here. And then, like, you would actually quite lose a very important companion. So it might be that it's hard for you to be emotionally vulnerable. Or there might be some things that happened in the past that altered your perception of this person. You don't really see them as being a part of your future. But you don't want to give up the future either. Okay. But this temptation to just take the baby and run, it's not going to work. And again, baby could be a metaphor for something else. Okay. Yeah, direct message from Spirit. Mind your thoughts, mind your words, mind your actions, and continue looking in prayer, looking for Spirit, right? If it's scary partner for you, really discuss with Spirit about that, because I know you're feeling like now is the time for me to have this baby or this project or this, whatever it is. But I'm really getting baby, as you can tell. But you're feeling like it's the wrong person, but why is it always this person coming up? So really discuss with God about that. Because I'm also thinking that there might be the reasons, but it might be your ego or something that you're not quite seeing, that your higher self sees, that's connecting you with this person. Okay. And so look deeper into it. Try to remain calm. All right. So any final things about this, Spirit? I'll see again. We have the High Priestess in reverse, so it's maybe again this overthinking and not quite praying for the results, or you feel like something's your intuition, but it's not. Okay, so you have to actually sit down and pray instead of, just going about your day and just getting this vibe, just saying the vibes are sus, right? No. That's not actually intuition sometimes. Sometimes it's your ego, so you have to actually spend a moment and think and consider about it, okay? Especially if there's someone in your life that you're actually waiting for to give you this Six of Cups here instead. Maybe even someone who's passed on, or an old relationship that you keep thinking about. It might just be a fairy tale, okay? And try to figure out what's the truth, right? It's really hard when it's the Ace of Cups sometimes. It's not the clearest kind of intuition. Well, it's intuition, but Not as clear as the sun. But you do have here the sun coming here. So there will be clarity. Right. And I see at least one person here having issues with fertility. And this has caused some heartbreak, and you're feeling stagnant while your partner is ahead of you. Okay. But there is this strong marriage, this union here, the 10 of Cups. There's no child here in this 10 of Cups, not like the Rider-Waite deck. So for this person, you might have to think of, what does it mean to have a child for you? And are you okay with not having a child? Maybe you could adopt, maybe, like we were looking at the 5 of Pentacles. Is it still here? I don't know, the 5 of Pentacles right here. These aren't her children, right? She's taking care of them and taking them out of the cold. So you might actually find a place to volunteer, to work for. You can really care for children as if they're your own, and we need those people. Right? We need those people in society. Every child needs and deserves love, but not every parent gives it. So why not be there for those children if you're capable? Okay. On a happy note, what are the blessings coming your way? Because I'm feeling children, right? But there's this love that I'm sensing in the background that maybe you're not sure of. What are some blessings coming your way? Because I'm also seeing finances connected to this person, or to the baby, or to some inheritance, some people. Okay. I dropped it on the ground. 1 second. Okay, blessings coming your way. Interesting, there were so many pentacles when we were discussing earlier, and I was just talking about pentacles that might be coming. But Spirit wants you to consider more the spiritual side, obviously, right? So we have the Devil here in reverse. Very nice that it's in reverse. So this would be letting go of the ego, letting go of, any false relationships. Grab the 5 of Pentacles again. And then we have Temperance here in reverse. So a blessing of Temperance in reverse might actually, might actually be, because we see here in this Temperance, there's a line of men coming to drink from these healing waters, right? So you might have felt like that's your service that you've been providing others, but you're not getting much in return, right? So here in this lush garden here, I feel like this line of men could stop, right? And there's a time period to nurture yourself. In the Temperance in reverse, I usually think of something out of balance, but as a blessing in the way this card is shaped. I think that it's time for you to retract. So I think this would be a great time for you to retract, maybe taking yourself out of the dating pool, or, just in service to others in general, and becoming service to yourself. It's very beautiful, and God will bless you here. Look at all this growth all around, right? Yes, good, very good blessings, mostly spirituality based, coming your way, the best kind. Okay, and 5 of Swords is at the bottom of the deck of the blessings, so it might feel like the blessings, you have to pull them out, right? Or you have to grab them. But, and then this could also be a warning here. What you perceive to be a blessing could be something else, because the Five of Swords here is representing, I can't remember what these creatures are called, but they're actually pulling out the feathers here to get them away, right? They're attacking them and then they end up flying away. Okay, so it might seem like you're pushing your blessings away, but actually this was never for you, right? And you're actually getting rid of these devils here, these temptations, this devil energy, and you're going to take your blessings. Very nice, very symbolic. So that could mean, take it as it means to you as an individual. Okay, anything else? Spirit. Seven of Wands, almost like a confirmation of what I just said. You can even see it here as she's slaying the demon, right? So you might come head on with some of your demons, but you can face them and choose a really nice spiritual path with the guidance here, guidance from your spirit, from your higher self, maybe ancestors. You have a whole team rooting for you. And you also can live quite independently at the same time as well. You just have to take your time. It doesn't have to be complete solitude, but just some time, some patience. You see here, breathing life into the Pharaoh here. So I'm also kind of seeing this a bit personally for myself again. So this Pharaoh is this Sphinx is breathing life into the Pharaoh again. Okay, so it is like rejuvenation here. But this is the Knight of Wands, so it's also a beginning, a fresh start, right? So he's starting all over as he becomes the Pharaoh in his new life. So I'm almost seeing you as the Sphinx and this as your partner. And this actually might be something that happens in your path, something that you can expect, right? As you kind of slay the demons in your path for whatever reason that you're hesitant on accepting this partner or accepting the dynamic, or you're not quite ready for these changes, or maybe there's some issue you need to forgive them. I'm not going to even say need, but in order for this to be achieved, forgiveness might be needed. But I'm not saying you definitely have to. I think that there's a process in that we over demand victims, right? So if you're victimized by your partner in some shape or form and you're struggling to forgive them and you've been thinking about leaving them, but for some reason you're tied down with them, maybe it's a baby or the discussion of a baby. If you choose to go the route of forgiveness, but remaining in your sovereignty, in your power, this might actually help your partner and breathe new life into them. But it's a process. Okay, that can take a while. It takes patience, fortitude. Okay. And I would, just looking at this card, I know it's kind of quite a long story why I would say this, but I would say prayer would definitely help you if you're looking into fertility. And just maybe even praying on which doctors to see or which medicines to take. Okay, who to avoid. But I am not a doctor, so I'm not going to go much more deeply into that. I don't want to mix with that more. This is for just a guidance on your journey, right? And everyone has a unique perspective and a unique journey that they're going on. So this is just some assistance, but if you have any questions that would be better directed to a doctor, then go direct it to a doctor. Okay, so this is just a reminder. Trust yourself in the journey that you're on. Take everything with a grain of salt. Okay, and take any of the messages that were for you. Use your discernment. Anything else, just let it be. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you again.